He's basically saying you can do cocaine. You'd be an idiot to pop positive on a test. Although he's on supervised probation, could technically probably get called in at any time rather than just.
Please, nobody follow that advice if you're on probation. Don't listen to Aaron.
All right. So I don't know any more of this. I haven't heard it. I was just trying to figure out what to do. So this clip came up.
Yeah, it's not a crime for him to be hated. And like, again, you can trigger these people without saying a word. It's wild. I will say this, if they do call every day and be like, I hate Aaron, probably works in my favor, because then that officer will probably be like, okay, this is psychotic. I'm done. I'm going to cut you loose.
I will say this, and I've said this from jump. Don't do that. Like, I know there's a lot of people that are like, I'm going to clip this up and send it to the prosecutor, or I'm going to call and report him for A, B, C, and D. Don't do that. It's like, he's going to screw it up all on his own. He doesn't need anybody's help. Let him talk. Let him, as long as he feels like he's untouchable. And even with this, even if people are doing that kind of thing, he's right. It would work in his favor. So don't do any of that. Let him screw up on his own.
Like, it's just, there's like, I'm tired of dealing with this shit. These people they got shit to do. Oh, Jason Puck says, saying you have to be an idiot to get caught. What, doing cocaine? Well, I mean, that's only going to be a funny clip if I get busted doing cocaine. And there's about a 0% chance of that happening. I'm going to tell you. Forever Two Wheels says Powerless attacking Powerless was when Johnny hit his cat violently and made it scream in pain. If I'm Johnny, I run with that all day. Like, it's such a retarded premise and it's so stupid. Like, I don't understand how people get mad about that stuff. When it comes to the Johnny thing, I've watched too many people like get bent out of shape. And it's like, how can you not see these internet people coming from a mile away? Like, what reaction they want you to give. Don't give them the opposite reaction. And then they don't fuck with you. They just get really mad at you and they see that you. So like for Johnny, I don't know why he feeds into this shit. Like, if people are like, I saw you punch your cat and it screamed out in pain, just be like today on your show, just go like, yeah, and I'll fucking do it again if you guys don't cut it out. Like, just lean in.
Oh my gosh.
Because what they want you to do is fight with them. What they want you to do is go, I didn't punch my cat. Why are you saying you punched my cat? Who gives a shit? They're double-digit IQ retards. They're probably inbred. Who cares if they think you hit your cat? What does it change? What substantial change takes place if that nameless, faceless person thinks you hit your cat? It's so silly. I want to give that person a lot of credit for getting a reaction out of anyone with that small brain bullshit.
With that, it's exactly what I was saying before about him in his suit. He's not following his own advice, where people make fun of him only having the blue suit and it makes him freak out. So then he's got to change his behavior and go cobble together another outfit just to look like he has another suit. It's the exact thing he's telling Johnny right now, but he doesn't follow his own advice.
Well, and the internet people, I love that. The internet people, I honest to God, don't know anyone that's more plugged in to the internet than Aaron. And he just made a comment yesterday or something, maybe the day before that, where he was talking about how they have been sending me packets of information to dox all the different people that have been, stalking me and showing up to my hearings and this, that, and this, that. And I'm thinking, well, that's internet people, isn't it? These people that are supposedly sending you all this information, when the truth of it is he's going to one website and getting all the information. But it's just like, he never takes his own advice. He always stands in a position where it's like it's all projection, every part of his life.
And he doesn't have any actual allies or friends. Whenever he says like that's always just fake. When he's like, hey, we're going to hit the goal. He wants to pretend like he's got friends in his corner. The only people he has are people like Gino that just have this strange hatred for Nick Rekieta, which is really unjustified. So they don't really have any like affinity for Aaron. They just hate somebody else. So like, I'll glob onto Aaron just because we hate the same guy, which in this case is Nick or his wife. With the Kiwi Farms people, again, I don't know a lot about Nick Rekieta, and you might have already gone over this. I don't know why he has so many people hate him. Because from what I've seen, he's nothing like Aaron. He's got a fucked up life, but he's not out there making enemies and trying to get everybody to hate him like Aaron does.
Well, okay, so I don't here. Okay, this is sort of the way that it played out for me. When I first ran up on this story, I had watched Nick from trial coverage and stuff like that when he was doing the Law Tube and had other lawyers come in and discuss whatever the trial was, the Johnny Depp thing, the Rittenhouse. So I knew who he was, but I didn't. I mean, I was busy. I had other things going on too. I didn't spend all my time looking into who he was and what he was about and all of that. So I didn't know any of the backstory or any of the lore on who Rekieta was or was becoming. Now, he has over 10,000 pages on a website that's been following everything that he's doing back from years ago. And there's a lot, I mean, 10,000 pages. I don't know how anybody could get caught up on that if they weren't already, following along. But there's all kinds of things that he said and did that were contradictory. So there for a hot minute, he was selling himself as a trad dad. I'm this trad dad, and I have this traditional lifestyle. I have my wife and my kids. I don't do drugs. Like I'm just this straight edge. Other than drinking, he did drink, I think on stream then too. But I think there was a lot of people that followed him because they believed that and they liked this father. It was almost like a father figure, right? Like
okay.
So
he was like the seventh heaven dad, where everybody thought he was like a family guy, and then he was having those sexual scandals behind the scene.
Yeah,
I forget the actor's name, but that guy.
Then things changed, in his private life, and he wasn't able to. I mean, he didn't hide that necessarily, other than the actual, the sexual stuff. But he was drinking on stream. He was coming in zooted after a 45-minute bathroom break. I mean, these things were happening. So a lot of these people liked him, and looked up to him, whatever, liked his content until he started to fall off. So I don't know. There's just not enough hours in the day to look into 10,000 pages worth of stuff, but there's stuff there. There's stuff where people, and he has, I guess, like fault off and on with different people. I mean, he starts a lot of shit on Twitter. He will,
I've noticed doing research on this, that guy, Sean, not Schizo Sean, who I apologize, Sean, if you're watching. I think I called you Psycho Sean before, but it's Schizo Sean. But the really fat guy with a great head of hair.
Criminal.
That guy, he hates Nick.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why. I don't know if they were adversaries in the court years ago or something, but it seems very personal.
Yeah, no, they were buddies. Like he had come on the stream a lot, and there was a big falling out. I don't know specifically what it was about, but there was a personal thing going back and forth. And at one point had to do with money, because they were saying, oh, Nick let us on the show, but he never gave us compensation. And Nick was like, the compensation was the fact that you were on a stream with 60,000 live viewers. That was your payment. Like, what are you doing? But then it became super personal, where Nick was calling him, what was it, law couch or something, like, just completely shitting on him. And so it just sort of became a thing where, and there was this entire army of people that hate Nick. So there was a built-in audience that was willing to hoorah for anyone that was against Nick. And that's how we have this, Aaron as the hero. He was like, oh, maybe he'll be able to get Nick finally and pin him down and make him pay for his crimes. So that they kind of got behind Aaron until they found out what a clown he is.
And I've said this in my few videos. I don't care about Nick. I don't like him or dislike him. He's just not important to me. I only know about him because it's a conduit to make fun of Aaron. He's like the little connecting wire.
For sure.
And I love making fun of Aaron, if you haven't noticed.
Well, and that was one of the main reasons why we had him on the show. He had been on the show, I think twice, maybe 3 times, but each time it wasn't planned. He wasn't like a planned guest. He was in the audience, was like, hey, send me a link. I'll explain these HROs. My point in saying that was, this was a first person account of what was going on behind the scenes. Of course, I'm going to let him speak the same way we invited Aaron on the show. We're like, yes, come on. Like, let's talk. Let's discuss it. And he wasn't facing charges. So, we were nice to Nick, and he was answering questions and was cordial. I would have been the same way with Aaron, but.
Yeah, and that's a big problem with Aaron. He's so scared to talk to anybody that can challenge his views, because that's what he's terrified of, is anybody challenging him with this whole delusional castle he's built around himself.
All right, let's see what else he's talking about.
Hit Gordy. I will play into it, and I will heal it up the whole way. It's unhealthy to take this shit so seriously. Sam Show says, Johnny values our opinion more than people in his own personal life. Isn't it sweet? But it's so easy not to. Like, that's what I get bewildered by with like the Karmics and the Mershes and all these other people, is I'm just like, how easy it is to just flip this and own it? Nothing's going to happen to you. You know, if you flip it and own it and laugh about it, it's not like those people are coming over to your house. Well, some of them are mentally ill. They might. None of those people are coming over to your house and like enforcing this edict on you. It's all stupid. So just roll with it. Papa Shab says losing his vehicle was the funniest thing Mersh has ever done. It was really funny listening to him fight back his tears where he's like, and like, I don't know why he had to breathe so heavy into the mic. Like, breathe away from the mic. Like, don't sit there. Because like Royce is like trying to make points on the show. He's like,
this is someone that doesn't watch anything, didn't catch that, but he knows all the details of a clip that happened like 8 or 9 months ago.
Well, that was great about Moody's chart from Kiwi Farms, where Moody was able to show, like, look, this guy is sleeping like a shark or something, where they can only sleep like for a few minutes and then they got to start swimming again or they'll die. You know, he just has these little bursts where he's taking a break and then he's back on the internet reviewing all this stuff. It's why I don't mean to bring it back to myself, but when I made my very first Cabbie video, I really didn't think anybody was going to watch it, but I was certain Aaron was going to find it. And that's why I made it, was to give him a message of saying like, hey man, try to be a better guy for your family. Obviously that didn't happen, but my point is he finds everything, you know, anything to do with him.
I do think with Aaron, he has a lot of people that send him clips. Like I had 3 or 4 people send me your first video. So I'm sure he has people that's like that too. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy's talking about you. Has he ever mentioned
Hey
you
Aaron, in case you're watching? I don't think so, but to be honest, I don't watch Steel Toe. I did a long time ago, and I'll try to make this brief, but before you had a show covering Aaron, before Patrick Melton knew who he was, anything like that, Aaron, back when he had April, did an okay show. It wasn't great, but he would cover a lot of Dabbleverse stuff. He would talk about Opie and Anthony, Stuttering John, Chad Zumach. So it got sent to me through the YouTube algorithm, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, this isn't, you know, great, but it's not bad. And I love Stuttering John content, so that's why I was watching it. But with Aaron, I just noticed he would lie about everything and try to gaslight his audience, where he thinks it's 1995 and you can't just get on the internet and look something up in 2 seconds.
Yep.
And so eventually I said, fuck this guy. So I stopped watching him. Then fast forward maybe 2 years or so, I see Patrick Melton on Who Are These Podcasts, and they're talking about Aaron. So like, oh, let me see what that guy's doing. I looked at it and then saw like all the train wreck that happened to his life with the Nick Reichardt stuff. Like, oh my God. In the time I stopped watching, this dude's life went way downhill. So then I went down the rabbit hole of studying all the Melton stuff.
Yep.
Then I found y'all's show back when Jackie was with you. Not to speak ill of the dead or anything, but when you guys were together and you found the emails for Safe Sport, where you're like, hey, look, this is email number 1 out of like 1152. I think this guy's lying about when he did this.
Yep.
And I just became addicted. Like I can't get enough Aaron coverage of people making fun of him. It's like a drug for me.
I get it. And obviously as somebody that is trying to present a show, we have, that's what we're doing, is watching for these little, you know, spikes of something interesting or weird that we can say, you know, this is not true. We found this, or he's being hypocritical because A, B, C, and D. Hold on. I paused that at a really weird time. I got to figure out what that was about.
Away from the mic.
Oh, Mersh breathing.
Like, don't sit there. Because like Royce is like trying to make points on the show. He's like, like he's like a girl sighing because she wants you to ask her what's wrong and she's going to go nothing. It was very weird. You might hate me for this one, but one of my favorite, I don't know, sit down, casual-esque dining chains, Ruby Tuesday. Now, I was a teenager. I was at the Mall of America. My buddies and I thought we were fancy in our pantsy going to Ruby Tuesday for lunch instead of, you know, like Hooters or something like that. Like, Ruby Tuesday? What are we going to get, a gold napkin? What the? So we go to Ruby Tuesday. It's the first place I ever had crab cakes. Was at a Ruby Tuesday. And I ate the Ruby Tuesday, probably definitely frozen crab cakes. And I'm like, oh, man, this is really good. Like, I'm 16, 17 years old. I'm like, oh, man, crab cakes. Oh, this is fantastic. This is what crab cakes are. This is incredible. And you go to a real place like, Joe's Seafood in when I went in Las Vegas, or Catch or something like that, where they have fresh.
Hold on. Look at his arm, y'all. I cannot help it. I can't help it. look at this bingo wing. Watch this.
Food
Right
in
here.
like when I went in Las Vegas or Catch or something like that, where they have fresh crab cake stuff. You're like,
Boxer of the year.
He is right though. Nevada is known for the freshest, finest seafood. You know, being in the desert and everything.
Right.
That's
of
where you
course.
go if you want good crab.
Obviously. Yeah, for sure. No, that arm, y'all, as a boxer, it's like. Sorry, I made that clip and I think it's funny. But I did catch him talking about how April remarried. Did you hear that?
Oh, I heard about that, and then I also heard his friend Matt got married and didn't tell him. I don't know if you already went over that, but that was funny.
I didn't, but you're right. Yeah, he said that Grinch Girl, they got married to Grinch Girl. But so at some point yesterday, I think it was yesterday, it's been a long couple weeks, but he said, like in passing, that April had gotten remarried. And here we have her best friend in the whole world, Keanu C. Thompson, and her mother. And if you're asking what is on the screen, I don't exactly know. I guess she's trying to be David Bowie, and then whatever we got going on here. I guess
Her mom looks like Mike Myers when he did that terrible Cat in the Hat movie a few years ago.
Yeah. Oh, that. Hold on. Where's my button? Here it is.
Very untoward. But yeah.
But she's talking about it. Somebody asked her about it. It says, please address the elephant in the room. Did April get remarried? Aaron says she did. If so, when, to whom? Now, she's not talked to April for months and months and months. But I'm going to let you hear her response to this. And I just wanted a reason to bring this on the screen. Let's be real.
Please address the elephant in the room. Did April get remarried? Aaron says she did. If so, when, to whom? Bill, I was listening to Aaron's show tonight. I think he was just being, not to my knowledge, did she get remarried? But I heard him say that as well. I don't think to his knowledge she got remarried either. Does that answer your question? But I did hear him say that. I think it was just a mistake because so that's all I know, Bill. But
how do you mistakenly?
I do apologize. I was not avoiding it. So thank you. Can you imagine? My gosh.
That's very strange. It was 40-second clip that got clipped up. Didn't really say anything, but I just thought that was interesting. And I wanted a reason to bring this right here up on the screen because it's crazy.
I hope she married a guy that's like a young Shaq, like just a really tall black guy, and just to drive Aaron insane.
Oh my Lord. He would lose his mind. He would absolutely lose his mind.
Again, a lot of his, I'm the heel is just a self-preservation tactic. He doesn't really want to be the bad guy. He's just doing that because if I'm the bad guy, that's why you hate me. It's because I'm a dick to everybody and nobody can handle my craziness versus me really wanting to be part of the group. But I know you're going to reject me because I'm Aaron and I'm just a dork. That's a really good way to describe him. He's just that guy. He's like, fucking Robbie's coming. I don't want to go if Robbie's going to be there. We all knew somebody like that growing up, and that's Aaron.
But don't you agree that you have to have a level of intelligence to be manipulative? Like in order to manipulate situations, you've got to be intelligent enough to have that, forethought. And
Aaron is at least of normal intelligence. Now he's not as smart as he thinks he is.
Right. I agree.
But it could be possible that he is a little above normal, whatever the average is. Excuse me. But then, he's just evil. I know that probably seems like too strong a word because nobody hates Aaron. He thinks that we all hate him, and that's why he's able to twist things into being a win for the toe because he's made it in his mind that unless he kills himself, then he has won. Because like we all hate him. We all want him to die in a dungeon, being lit on fire or something insane like that. So again, with the jail, like he thinks that we all wanted him to get 10 years in hard labor, like in, Sing Sing or something like that. So then when the judge gave him 15 and he keeps downplaying it to 8, he may only serve 8, but on paper, he was sentenced to 15 days. So that's what the official sentence is. And also the 5 days he's knocking off, you might have already gone over this. That's not guaranteed. That's based off of good behavior. If he goes in, he does his 8 days and doesn't cause trouble, which to be fair is the most likely outcome, then he'll get credit for those other 5. But that's the state just wanting to get rid of prisoners and make room for new ones. They're not obligated to do that for you. You're not entitled to that 5 days off. It's just a general custom to get rid of overcrowding.
Based on that, wouldn't you say that it would be less of an issue as far as like financially and the burden that it puts on the state to have him just come in and do the 8 days rather than do an intake every other weekend or like.
Yeah. And that's why the prosecutor, they got to know Aaron with all these clips and seeing all these violations. That's why they said 45 days. We want him in custody immediately, because they realize, hey, this guy's a piece of shit. He needs a real punishment, which, to be fair to Aaron and everything, 45 days is way above and beyond what is really fair for his actual crime. But they're looking at all the stuff of him saying fuck you to the system and just being so flippant with everything. And I don't mean to break out $50 words, but that's a good way to describe him. So that's why they said 45 days. The judge doesn't know all that. The judge, that's why she gave him a lot of mercy and said 15, because you definitely fucked up and deserve a punishment, but not too severe. So to get back to your question, 8 days would be much better. We might have already gone over this. I can't remember, but if he had just done that like a man, he'd be out now. He'd be finished with it.
Yep.
His sentencing was on the 30th. That was 8 days ago. He'd be completely done with it now. But this is Aaron. It's the same thing with the HROs, and you might have already gone over HROs. I was gone. But he keeps trying to kick the can down the road because, again, in fairness to Aaron, that does work out for people sometimes. You see it with a lot of people who don't want to deal with issues, and they say, let me just put it off, run away from it. And sometimes that actually does work out.
You're not wrong, though, because it sometimes, problems will take care of themselves if you put enough distance and time. So I don't disagree with that. But, I think there's also an element to the HRO situation with him trying to push it down the road, that he knows it's looping them in and keeping them paying their lawyers and keeping them having to take off time to, A, B, C, and D, as far as the different hearings and stuff like that. It's as much, in my opinion, of a punishment to both Nick and Patrick as it is like a convenience for him to back off and need more time. I don't know. I think
and he wants to keep those going because, again, as long as they are going, it's a win for him, even though it doesn't really affect Patrick's life, for example, or even Nick's.
Yeah.
It's a win for Aaron. In my original video, when I talked about him and John, Opie, and Chad, they're the common factor in all of their failed relationships, but fail to see it. And Aaron doesn't see that as like, hey, my first ex-wife, that's not my fault that I fucked that up. That was her fault. April, that's not my fault. Nick, everybody on the internet, guys like me, just some weirdo in the mountains that sees my life and decides to comment on it,
Oh, they're going to love this. They're going to eat it up. They're going to be look at the hillbillies. Look at the rednecks. The rednecks are over here talking about Aaron and Keanu.
And, I don't consider myself to be a genius or anything. I just know I'm smarter than people like Aaron and John. Because, again, I have no criminal records and I have my marriage and my kids live with me. Not to get into my personal life, but that's another thing is he talks about everybody like you're just some fat loser in your mom's basement playing World of Warcraft or something. And it's like, no, we have real lives. I have a great life. But Aaron is so ridiculous that I was like, I gotta comment on how much of an idiot this guy is. And then now I'm in the Dabbleverse. Like I'm an actual dabbler now.
You did it. Have you ever heard Keanu talk about, you mentioned Michaeline's earrings? Have you ever heard that story?
I don't think so. Nothing about it. I heard one where they said they fucked the same guy one time. I don't know if that's the earring story or not, but it was gross.
It is. That was their buddy Dwayne. Dwayne was his name. And the mom had left earrings over at Dwayne's house, and Keanu was supposed to go pick up the earrings. Anyway,
just stellar family values.
It is. TV's Will Heron for 5 says super busy, but had to take a work break to say hi to the homies. What's up, Will? Hope you're having a good day at work.
Is he the guy that did the funny articles about Aaron, or was that the other guy? But those are so funny. The headlines that were like 40 words long, disgraced former DJ. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, what's weird about that, the biggest thing for me is that there are many clips of Aaron promoting Will. Will's great. Will's a great journalist. He's this, he's that. And the second that Will wanted to interview Nick to get a comment, that was it. And Aaron turned on him, started talking about his boss, had people, I guess, writing in or calling his boss, harassing him at work, trying to get him fired. And, Will's been through it, and it's all because Nick.
And I'm sorry, this has probably been gone over many times, but that's the biggest problem with Aaron and these other guys is none of them are talented. They can't just break balls. I grew up with just brothers, so it was like kill or be killed. I make fun of you and you make fun of me, and we just mess with each other. And Aaron doesn't have any of that, and neither do the other big people like Stuttering John and Chad. But it's strange how sensitive they are, and they can't come up with funny, witty comebacks to make fun of you. So then they have to be, oh, sorry, that's my dog. But that's why you have to like go, oh, I can't just make fun of you and people will laugh and say Aaron's funny. So instead I've got to get you fired from your job because that's the only way I can try to retaliate.
It's very, very strange, but it's something that if you watch him long enough, he does it quite a bit. He will say full names. He will direct his audience. There's lots of veiled threats, like the one that he made yesterday, where he's like, yeah, I've got all these people sending me all of these doxes on the people that showed up at the hearing. And it's like, why say that? Like that, you can't, I don't know. It's just interesting and odd behavior for someone who just got in trouble and is on probation and all this to just come out and do these veiled threats. I think it's ballsy.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, you probably already went over this, but just with his probation, that's the biggest thing. Now, I do not want Aaron to go to jail. I want to make that very clear. For what he did, it does not deserve a year in prison. But being on 2 years of supervised probation, I experienced this a lot where there'll be guys that are like habitual fuck ups and they will talk to their lawyer and work out a deal with the DA and just say, hey, let me do this 90 days or 120 days instead of being on probation because I know I can't go that long without doing something stupid. And then I'm going to get a longer jail sentence. They will work out something and say, hey, let me just do like 6 months now and be done with it. And with Aaron, I hope this doesn't happen. But if he stays on the internet doing shows every single or multiple shows a day, he's going to fuck up, especially with so many people that genuinely dislike him. And you've said this, Patrick has said this, Carl has said this, that everybody says, don't mess with Aaron's life. Don't try to get him in trouble. But somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to take clips and say, look, Judge, this is what the guy did. And then he's going to get in real trouble. Yeah. Especially now he's convinced himself that, oh, it's only, what is he whittled it down to like 5 days now is what he's trying to tell himself.
I heard that the other day. Yeah.
So he's thinking, hey, this is another win for the toe. Everybody showed up at court thinking I was going to get executed by firing squad, but I'm so great. It's only 5 days in jail. So now somebody's going to come after me again.
Well, I want to sort of push back on the not deserving 1 year prison time. For his initial charge, I could agree with that. I think that's a little severe. But my problem with that, the felony that was on the table at one point where it was on the intent to harass, that was why the felony didn't stick. They proved, okay, no, he wasn't trying to harass her when he did that, when he committed the crime. But from that point forward, he's violated not once. It says in the transcripts from the first sentencing, several violations. Like he's using his platform to do it or under the banner of Steel Toe Media. So if he's doing a live show or whatever, and he's got Gino on there talking a bunch of stuff, he's allowing them to be his voice first and saying things that he's not allowed to say. I feel like the continued intentional, I personally find it as harassment, considering Kayla had reached out to him the day before and said, please stop like going around with this media tour. And so to me, there was intent to harass. He purposely did that on the show. We know that they were buddies. He could have done it in private. Nobody would have known unless Gino or Keanu ran their mouth about it. But to me, that shows intent to harass. And then from that point forward, he didn't say, let me take my $50 fine and shut up and apologize. And I know I was wrong for that. It didn't stop there. It continued. And then he used proxies to continually harass. In my opinion, but
he's definitely a piece of shit. It just, I mean, again, we have to, I said this in my videos, you got to try to like take out that you like or don't like someone and try to be objective. And that's much easier said than done because we all have biases.
Sure.
And with Aaron, again, just for his actual crime, the only reason he got jail time now is the judge that's punishing him for disregarding the court's orders.
Yes.
If he had, and that's when a lot of people hate his lawyer. His lawyer, I think, did a good job, especially with having such a difficult client to work with. You know that Mr. Peterson, I don't know how big his law office is, if it's just him and a secretary or something, but you know that sometime while this is going on, the secretary heard from her office, she heard like, fuck, Imholte, something like that. I'm going to yell, but like where he like found out of something new, something stupid Aaron did. He's like, shit, now I got to deal with this again. And they're going to do it because that's their obligation as the attorney and he's being paid, obviously. But the guy got Aaron a great deal at the beginning and Aaron screwed it up and he's fighting to try to get the 15 days down to just weekends. I don't know. I hope the prosecutor, since they know who Aaron is, does not allow that because 8 days will be hilarious. Weekends is still a punishment for him because he's so scared, but that's not real jail. Now, if he goes to real jail, I don't want that to happen because that's going to kill that poor man. Yeah, Aaron would not survive a month in real jail. If he went in knowing I got to do a year. Oh, I'm sorry. This is what's insane about him. Let's say the judge threw the book at him and Nick Rekieta at the same time, and they both went to the same prison and we're inmates in the same like cell block where they're hanging out on a regular basis,
Mhm.
and say Nick got 5 years in jail and Aaron got 4.5,
Uh-huh.
they would be in the yard together, and Aaron would be bragging like, "Ah, Nick, I bet you wish you were me, man. You know, fucking 65 months from now or whatever it is, I'm going to be out on the street doing my show." And he'd be like, "Aaron, we're in prison. What are you
Mhm.
talking about?" But he would still be like, "I've got to win. I'm the winner.
Yep.
Just because I had a few months, I'm doing 4.5 years in prison, but you got to do 5. So you suck. I'm better." Like how he was making fun of Nick for having probation, and now Aaron's on probation.
Yep.
Well, to his credit, again, I got nothing against Nick, but he's been doing the adult thing and shutting up and just be good. And you know, that's what you need to do. You got to toe the line. I think don't you guys have a show like that, Toe the Lie?
Yes, we did.
You and the
with
pineapple.
That's right. That's right. We haven't
Yeah.
done it in a long time, but yes. No, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
And the thing with Nick was he was going to have to do an automatic 30 days if he had like X amount of days to make it through probation to not activate the 30 days, but I know he's got a suspended sentence that's longer than that.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what it was,
But I do not want Aaron to go to prison, real prison, because I mean they would kill that poor boy. He would not last a fortnight. They would do a covered wagon on him. They would have gladiator battles, swapping cigarettes and stuff for who would own Aaron. You know, it would be terrible. He would, and he does. And not even Aaron deserves the kind of sexual and physical abuse he would get in real prison.
listen here. We all make decisions and we have consequences for our actions. Next to him actually dying in prison, I don't give a shit. He should go in there and get his ass reamed out. The way I look at it is, you know, you have to pay for your crimes. You have to, you know, do the time, right? But no, I mean, I don't want to see him physically hurt. Like, yes, it's funny to be like, aha, these guys are gonna, you know, whatever, take care of him in there. But next to like watching him actually be traded for honey buns or, you know, I don't know, that wouldn't be so bad.
And that would be a real thing. I mean, that or maybe he would finally be forced to get tough.
The biggest thing for me is it would be an opportunity for him to actually meet real men and yes, criminals, but I mean like men that are no nonsense, that aren't about the fanfare and the theater and the bullshit and the smoke up your ass, that are just real people who would humble him. That's my biggest thing. I just think he needs to be humbled.
That is the biggest thing. He refuses to, again, if he would just be human.
Yeah.
And say like, damn, I screwed up, or this is a loss for the toe. I fucked up. And he said that a couple times, but it's clearly fake. You know, like when he thought he was safe, when he had his deal in place, the original deal, he's like, remember, he's like, I've wanted to say that for so long. I finally said that I sent Kayla Ricada's new photo, which his lawyer, remember they were trying to downplay it to like a nipple or something when before, when he was talking to Gino. That's the funniest thing is all this is because you were trying to look cool to Gino Bisconte. That's who you're trying to impress. Aaron is better than Gino. Stuttering John is better than Gino. Like Gino is about as far down the hole you could fall. Like if I threw you in a pit, you would land on Gino's body. Like that would be the cushion. He's already down there at the very bottom. Like he's stupid. He's unsuccessful. He's poor. Like he's everything that all the negative traits put together. You know, John has the excuse of decades of drug and alcohol abuse. I don't know what excuse Gino has. I don't know if he does drugs or anything. People joke about him doing coke, but I don't know if any of that's true. I think he's just naturally stupid.
I think he's got severe ADHD. I think his liver is pickled, and you know, the other stuff I don't really know about. I've heard rumors, but I don't know, you know.
So I don't mean to go on a Gino bashing, but that guy does not get enough hatred on the internet. He does get some, but not nearly as much as he deserves.
I agree. Come hang out Friday night. Like I said, Friday night, we're going to be doing some fun stuff because I've had about all I want of Gino's ass too. He's fucking, he's too much. He's too much. Nobody watches him though. That's the thing. There's nobody paying any attention.
That's the other thing is, again, I'm not trying to sound humble, but I'm a nobody. Nobody should know who Kelly Cabbie is, whatever you want to call me. Right. But if you look at the videos I put out, they've got like 10 times the views of Gino's videos. And I think I have, even though I specifically tell people you don't need to subscribe because I'm not trying to be a YouTube guy, although I guess I am. But I mean, I have more subscribers than Gino, and he's supposed to be professional comedian Gino Bisconte. Like, it makes it's hilarious, but I'm just some guy. Like, I shouldn't be more successful than you.
He's got this. It's in the same way that Aaron does, but at least Aaron at one point was pulling in 20 grand a month on Twitch. Like he was actually making a decent living.
Yeah. That's why I say Aaron is above Gino. Gino, it was on my little chart. I'm sorry I didn't get to show that, but like Gino was, him and Stuttering John were like the bottom of the barrel,
Right.
as far as just lazy, stupid, alcoholic and everything. Aaron, I don't know if he's really an alcoholic. I think he might be I think he does drink, but I think he puts it on to an effect to try to sound and look manly. I think Aaron doesn't drink that much. I think he puts on the look of an alcoholic because he thinks that makes him manly. He's like, I'm just going to have a scotch after work today. I think he does drink, but I think he amplifies it a lot more to where he doesn't have a drinking problem. He just thinks that drinking makes him look cool and manly.
I agree with that part of it. I think
Gino's clearly an alcoholic, though.
Yeah. That's why when you said it, I was like, wait, who? But no, I agree. I think he has an idea in his mind what a man is supposed to look like. And to him, it's like he read a GQ magazine or something
I know.
As a teenager and was
nobody told him a man like sees his children, like, daddy, can you help me learn how to ride this bicycle?
Yep.
Stuff like that.
Yep. Somebody should have.
His dad seems like the father that never approved of anything. And he's so insecure and damaged from like never having dad's love or something, where like if he was a girl, he would have become a stripper or something. But instead he's a man, so he hates women.
I think what fascinates me more about that specifically is I don't like, just based solely on stories that we've heard him tell on the show over the years and things maybe April has said and stuff like that. We never really hear much about his mom. And we don't hear much about his sister. And we know how much he hates women and treats women like shit. I think you're right about the dad. It's like he's never fully gotten that pat on the head and good job, son, I'm proud of you, that kind of thing. Because when he talks about his dad, his dad's always telling him he's a failure, or of course you fucked up again and blah, blah, blah. So I can totally see that. But the female aspect of it is way more interesting to me because I feel like there's something traumatic happened, or something, because he never talks about his mom ever.
No.
Now, she wrote a letter to court, to try to
and then
plead for her son.
And with the court, just real quick, my theory is that nobody showed up for Aaron because he purposely didn't want anybody to come because he was worried about going to jail and didn't want people to see his moment of shame. To where there probably were people like his mom that would have come, but he either didn't tell him what day it was happening, although you could look that up, or specifically said, stay away, because I don't want you to see my humiliation. Because that's what he's so scared of is, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Well, did you see the clip of him leaving the courthouse, escorted
with
out?
his escort? Yeah, with the police.
Yes, in broad daylight. It's like you're afraid of a puppet. And so Sean, he is fearful, though. He is scared. He's a bitch. I say it all the time, and I mean it. He's bitch made. And, he's a lot of fanfare and theater. Well, he is, though. He's like the definition of. This is the clip, and you can tell if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. I had this like in my extras.
No, hit play. Let's make fun of Aaron.
This is Aaron and Johnny having an awkward interaction about sleeping with transsexuals.
Fuck you, dude, with $10 says, would you gentlemen rather have sex to completion with Bailey J or Buck Angel? Discuss. Bailey J in her butthole.
Go ahead. Who's Buck Angel?
A female to male transition.
Oh, I vote neither. No, thank
Johnny
you.
knows that.
Okay. No, he gave $10. He deserves an answer.
My answer is no. I don't prefer either. Like, I can't have sex with either of those people. It's going to be a thing.
I'll fuck Bailey J in the butt. If I have to choose between those two.
I'm not, well, yeah, but you were okay to that.
Have some fucking balls.
It's not even balls. It's just that's gross to me, and I'm not fucking turned on by either of them. So the answer is neither.
It wasn't asking. He didn't ask if you were turned on. The cleaner says, answer, gay F word. The man gave $10.
No.
I will Venmo you $10 right now. I'll give you that whole contribution, including what Rumble takes.
I'd rather not have the money. It's
$10.
fucking gross to me, okay?
In fairness to Johnny, I don't think he could sexually perform at all because of his crippling illness, regardless of who it's with.
Who did he name? Buck Angel and who?
Bailey J.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, it's gross to admit, but I mean, I'll be honest. I know who both those people are from the Opie and Anthony world and stuff like that. Jim Norton, I think, used to have some kind of connection to Bailey J, but that's a man, dressed up like a woman, has fake titties and stuff like that, but a penis. Buck Angel is the opposite. It's a woman who has had extensive work done to where you would definitely think it was a man, except for the genitals. But Buck Angel looks like a bodybuilder.
He's pressuring Johnny to answer, and Johnny's clearly like, I'm not interested in this. And he's like, but I'll send you $10. I'll send, like, why is he pushing him so hard to get this answer out of him? It's creepy to me.
I think it's just because he doesn't have a show. He's just trying to kill time. And let me just berate Johnny for a minute, because people laugh when I make fun of Johnny, and it makes Johnny uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
And it'll eat up a couple minutes of my show because I don't have anything planned.
Fair enough. That part's true.
I don't like the idea at all.
Offered you $10 to answer the question, and not only that,
and I gave you my answer.
I was gonna tell you that the Rumble Creator Program payout this month was ridiculous, and I wanted to give you a bonus. Because of that Rumble Creator Program payout, but now I'm sensing too much hostility and unwillingness to play as a teammate. The man sent $10.
I gave an I'm tired of giving an answer and that answer's not being acceptable. I'm not into either of that. I don't like either of those.
Well, you better not be in a relationship with a woman.
What?
If you don't like being asked the same question and not liking the answer you're getting.
Johnny's safe. He doesn't have to worry about being in a relationship with a woman.
Well, he has Digger, and she's in Canada.
I thought they broke up. Are they back together?
I don't know. The last I heard, he was trying to move up to Canada, and she was like, maybe not. Maybe don't do that.
It's not.
Again,
we're not going to hold you to it. Buck Angel and Bailey J aren't going to come to your house and go, it's fuck time, retard.
It's not even a matter of that. It's, again, I don't have either preference to that. I can't pick one because I don't want either of them.
Okay, but you have to do it to get it over with.
I'll take death, please.
You would rather die than fuck Buck Angel or Bailey J.
Yeah.
What? Dude, that's next level homophobia.
It's not even homo.
You're talking about somebody that's like on death's doorstep. Is that really fair? I mean, I'm sure he's already come to terms with the fact that he's terminal. I get it. Like, if he has to choose between the two, he's like, I'll just die. Never mind. And Aaron's like, come on, man. Come on. I want to hear all the fantasies about you and trans people. Fucking weird.
Homophobia. It's, again, you're proposing a situation that'll never happen, something I'm not into in either of those situations. So, yeah, I'm not into that. No.
So you're calling me a queer for answering so quickly?
Yeah.
What did he answer? What did he answer?
Yeah, he instantly said he would do Bailey J, which is the man that looks like a woman.
All right, here, let me show you something. Hey, audience, Bailey J or Buck Angel, who are you fucking if you have to? Well, I bet you're going to get a bunch of people. A bunch of people are going to watch this backfire on me, and they're all on your side. And they're like, no, Aaron, you're gay.
It's a weird.
I just want to see. Susan says I'm with Johnny.
Yeah.
Bailey. Yeah. Here, John Doe says Bailey J.
Wow, they're willing to pick. That's fine for you. I'm not.
Chevrolet JB says I'm going with Bailey. The other one says, I will say this, Bailey J is winning in those who are saying something. Bailey Hay, I think I'm going to say that counts as J, voter intent. Gurmy and somebody, both with you, say neither. Brian says, I'd take the bullet. Papa Shab says, Aaron, I think you just wanted to have sex with Bailey J.
I think it was just his way of like slightly coming out of the closet and letting people know what he really felt. That's what I think. And obviously the humiliation of Johnny.
Yeah, that goes back to what's going on with him and his dad. Is it something where maybe his dad would disown him if he was gay or something, so he can't ever come out of the closet till he's dead? Or, again, just wants to keep lying to himself.
Yep. And the kids don't, I know lots of men who were in relations, not lots, but a couple of men who were in marriages, relationships, bore children, had children with their wives, and then were like, okay, this is, I was always gay. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think he has very gay tendencies. Not only that, but I mean, he says the word gay 150 times a show. Like, there's just a lot of there.
Yeah, and I think that's something that happened with him and Nick with the polycule, where there were women involved, so you could use that as an excuse, like, it's not gay, we got ladies right here. But I think he performed something. What exactly, who knows? But I think he did something to Nick as like the submissive one, the woman, if you will. And then they broke up. And now there's this like scorned ex-lover hatred between the two of them.
There's definitely something. Now, I don't know which way, if it went both directions or not, but I do think
it could have gone both directions. Yeah, Nick doesn't strike me as like a tough guy or anything, but
No,
You know, who knows?
no, but
Definitely tougher than Aaron.
Yeah, for sure. Which is not saying a whole lot, but yeah, I don't disagree.
I'm fine with people picking like on that, like, hey, this or that, which would you like rather, which would you do? If someone wants to pick that, but you don't actually have to answer that question. Like you can answer that question with, oh, I don't want either of those options.
But
I'll take none, thank you.
I don't think you understand. He gave me $10.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's somehow supposed to make me answer in, like, again, I'm supposed to give you a disingenuous answer.
Yes.
Like, no, like I'm not gonna. So I'm supposed to lie because someone gave me $10. Your morals are that easily for sale. I'm not gonna do that.
Theater.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do it.
She's not uncute. I mean, she does look like a gay guy.
Come on,
with a wig
man.
on. That's fair. In some of these pictures,
He's fantasizing.
she's a penis though. That's really hard to get past.
I think this is part of his, like, I'm fake outrageous. Like, I'm 1995 Howard Stern. You know, well, I'm wacky. You know, look how outrageous the toe is. I mean, it is an excuse to talk about his gay nature, but I think he's really bringing this up as show filler and to, again, look like I don't need drama about my criminal life. Look, the toe can talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, tune in. You never know what we're going to talk about on this show. We're wild.
Maybe, but a lot of these are coming across as confessions.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about whether or not Aaron would come out from his first weekend in jail and have like a little tattoo, have like a teardrop tattoo on his face and talk, you know, all about how crazy his experience is.
It's funny if he had like a tiny foot, you know, to like so you can see the big toe. Yeah. He'll definitely, like, that's the thing. 8 days is nothing, even if he does 8 days straight. But if he does the weekends, that's the easiest way to do it. Where, again, he won't be put into general population or anything.
Right.
But he'll come out. And I said this back in my first video. I said, if he gets a short sentence, even though that's fitting for the crime, he'll not learn anything. And he'll come out thinking, oh, I'm tough. You know, like the system threw everything it had at me and I beat the system. I'm the baddest motherfucker on the block. You know, he thinks he's Leroy Brown.
Yep. No, I don't disagree. I think he's going to try to be, I think he'll be that way no matter what. But yeah, he does that with any new experience that he has. You know,
Yeah.
It's like he comes on and tries to school everybody on what that is. It's like, all right, great.
Whoa, did you guys hear about the ocean? It's like this giant body of water. You know, get out there and see it.
He's scared of the ocean, which is even funnier.
A lot of it is just kind of like a midlife crisis, is that he grew up in this middle of nowhere Minnesota, doesn't have any life, you know, he's never in the military. He didn't go to real college. Not saying you have to do these things. You know, he never decided like, hey, let me go work for Norfolk Southern and ride the railroad around. He didn't do anything. And he got married to Ashley. So the next thing you know, he's 30 and he's got a couple of kids. And then he's like, oh, crap, now I got to be dad. And I wasted my 20s young time of life when you're supposed to have adventures. Where, you know, he's like, I should have been in the Marine Corps. I could have been in the Philippines, you know. I could have gone to Ohio State, you know, and like been the head of the Kappa Alpha fraternity. And he has no things like that, but he doesn't have any experiences. Like he didn't even have like a summer job in Wisconsin, you know, logging trees or something where he's like, hey, at least I crossed state lines. And I live.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, he wakes up and he's like, shit, 40 staring me in the face. And I've got nothing to show my life except my family, which should be a big accomplishment. But for him, it's a burden. And he just starts freaking out and he's got to try to manufacture these wins in his head and make it seem like I was a big shot radio guy. And that's my legacy to the world, is I was basically the Howard Stern west of the Mississippi.
Yeah, well, that's where he's peaked. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately for him, that was the highlight of his life. So he's trying to hold on to it the same way that Stuttering John is with the career that he had.
And, you know, you'll hear about people that like peaked in high school, but Aaron didn't even do that. From what we've seen, he was a nerd in high school. Mm-hmm. You know, again, he wasn't getting invited to cheerleader parties or anything. You know, when they were doing senior ditch day, they weren't telling Aaron, hey, man, we'll meet us in the parking lot at 9. We're all going to, you know, McDonald's and we're going to go fishing or whatever. I don't know if you did that when you were in high school, but like there'd just be these unofficial like skip days for all the kids that were semi-popular. Like, hey, we're all leaving. We're going to go play volleyball. He didn't get to do that.
Probably not. You know, he didn't. He'll tell you a different story. But
and that's why he hates Patrick so much, is because Patrick looks like he should be the weirdo. He's a big fat guy with a crazy beard and glasses. And you would think, oh, this is the guy who like runs the comic book shop on The Simpsons. But instead, Patrick is very funny and people like him and like, hey, this guy's cool. I want to be this guy's friend. And it drives him nuts, you know. Same thing with Stuttering John and Carl. Carl looks like a nerd. And on paper, you shouldn't like him, but that guy is very funny, and people like him and want to be his friend. And he works hard, so he has a successful show. And people like Aaron want the success, but they don't want to put the work into it.
Right. He's extremely lazy. You're right about that. It's going to be wild. It's going to be interesting to see what he ends up doing and what the prosecutor agrees to now that Aaron's thrown that out there. Like he's got some kind of, ethics.
Yeah, I really hope the prosecutor is able to say, go fuck yourself. You're doing 8 days in a row. Even if they knock it down to 5 somehow, which they wouldn't. But even if he just did 5 days straight, that's what he needs. And it would just be funny for the rest of us if there was no Aaron for a week of shows and then let him come out and he's going to have all these stories. It would be fantastic. The Devilverse needs that.
If he could just sit down long enough to analyze his life, and when I say that about him being humbled, yes, I think he needs to be humbled. His ego is way, way out of line, but for his own sake, in order to move forward in his life, he needs to sit down, be quiet, listen, reevaluate his life, reform, whatever that might mean, reformat the show, take a full-time job, whatever it is. He needs to stop and take a breath and really analyze things. So it's as much for his good as it is punishment for his crime, in my opinion. And I do wish that he did 5 to 8 days and went in, and that was it.
My channel is called Ghost of Cabbie. I'm assuming if anybody's watching this, they probably have already seen it because, Devilverse is it's a small niche market of the internet.
True.
You don't have to subscribe or anything. I'm not trying to become Aaron and take over the internet. I like talking about Devilverse stuff. So I'll probably make another video at some point. But again, I'm not trying to become a superstar. All I ask is to be more successful than like Gino and Keanu, which I think is achievable.
You've already done it, basically.
Yes.